Jésù kò lè ó kọ́lé.
Ìwọ ṣáà ti ṣetán
Láti gbóhùn olùgbàlà rẹ̀.
ó kanlẹ̀kùn ọkàn rẹ̀.
Ṣílẹ̀kùn jẹ́ kó wọlé.
Hi, everyone. Hello. You're welcome to another episode of Let's Discuss, where we talk about practical matters that impact on our lives here on earth, impact on our journey to be the best we can, and ensures that we are also looking forward to heaven as well, our preparation towards heaven. The aim of Let's Discuss is not to be an information or data site or just bombarding you with information, but to be a platform for transformation whereby we all benefit, both the speaker and the listeners. You're all welcome. For those of you joining us for the first time, you're welcome. Feel free to like, share, and more importantly, contribute. We want to get everybody's thoughts and opinion in the session, particularly today's topic. I believe today's topic is one of the most important, if not the most important this year. And God would allow us to open our hearts to really receive it. Today's topic is about creating flow. And I would introduce my twin sister, which all of you would know, Yosin, aka Ngozi, or Aduni in Yoruba language. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here again. And I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Yeah, without
yeah.
delays and echoes.
Yeah, and please, anyone listening in, just type in the comment box if you can hear her okay, so that we know that everything's fine. I'm hearing her fine, but we just want confirmation from other people. So let's continue. Before we dive into today's topic, you would have seen a brief video I played. It's the Salvation Anthem. It's out now. It's the first song from Box Praise to be released. So it's not the first song from Box Praise, but it's the first one to be released. And it's such a powerful song. I would share the link in the chat and later as the conversation goes on. And I would encourage us all to watch it. Towards the end, we'll share a bit more about Salvation Anthem if we do have time. But it's available on all streaming platforms and YouTube. Make sure you go like, share, and encourage the woman of God who has put in a lot on this. Creating flow. And I'm not underestimating or exaggerating when I mean this might be the biggest topic for this year, because I believe creating flow is so important. So I would, allow Ngozi to take off and tell us a bit more about creating flow.
Yeah, well, I came up with this topic when we were discussing a little bit about, you asked me to do some more sessions. Yeah, I think it's better when you're on the side. I feel safer when you're on the side.
Oh, okay, no worries.
So you were asking about topics. I've been thinking about it, and this was a topic that came up. And I thought, well, let's research it a little bit more, and then maybe, that we can talk about it on this session. A flow is something that we hear a lot about in, all kinds of motivational speaker talks. I do not necessarily want to be one of them, but let's start with some sort of definition that I found about flow. And it said Flow is a state of mind in which a person is completely focused on a single task or activity. You lose your self-reflective consciousness for a while, and you get lost while busy and totally be immersed in the task or activity. And well, yeah, I recognize that sometimes when I'm busy with things, I think we all know it. The situation that you are busy in a task, you totally lose your sense of time
Mm.
or even of environment, and you are fully concentrated uh, in what you are doing. So it also says that it needs a high level of concentration because you are not distracted at the moment by the things that are going on around you. And well, probably we might know why is it important that we
Mm.
create flow, um, because when you can get immersed in your task like this, uh, it also gives you a sense of purpose and a satisfaction when you can find this sort of flow in the things that you are doing. Um, so yeah, I think it is important that we try to create flow in the things that we do, and because it gives positive energy, uh, it helps you enjoy the process of the things that you're doing, and it you can even create flow, I think, in a lot of boring things that you have to do. Most people probably have it in work, but you can also have it in sports, or you can maybe even have it in reading a book or in just being busy with one task at a time and then fully give your concentration to the things that you're doing at that moment.
Yeah.
So, um, well, I know that this world we have a lot of distractions, and it is important that we try to create this state of mind in which we do not get too easily distracted by all the things going on around us. Um, to be more effective in the things that we do, because I think if you are not able to create some sort of a flow in the things that you do, it also can lead to a lot of procrastination. And I think this that a lot of people uh, procrastinate in a lot of things these days because there is so much distraction. And I think I know from my own life that at sometimes I just experience that I find it difficult to find this state of flow because there is so much distraction everywhere. And I think it's often really difficult to find this state of flow and keep it for a long time. Maybe we can be concentrated on something for 10 minutes, but I think that a lot of people are too easily distracted and cannot find this high concentration.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah, no, and one thing I just wanted to do to just chip in as well for people who may be wondering, what are they talking about? What's this
yeah.
about this flow? What's that about that flow? I just want to encourage us that, as she has said, flow, when we're so focused on a particular activity or a task. Flow is when we're in a in a best state to receive our creativity or ideas. There was this statistics from people who have won the Nobel Prize in science. And it wasn't just one or two people. They did a study over 30 years. What all of them said was that they were in a state of flow in terms of thinking about the problem, thinking about the issues, and from nowhere, the solution jumped to them. The
Yeah.
love said in the morning that it jumped to them. Flow at times is what is making us not get those creative elements or ideas that we want because, like, Ngozi said, we're distracted about it. That's what flow is. Flow is that ability to be so focused on a particular thing or an endeavor that you begin to experience a new level of interaction, and because your mind is now open, God now drops some creative ideas into your mind, which you wouldn't have if you have been distracted. I don't know if that's a good way of summarizing
Yeah.
one of the benefits of flow. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to ask, how does one create flow in this? Because you're right, it's such a busy world. You might even decide to not put on your phone. I know it's happened to me once. I decided my phone goes on mute because I want to focus on something. And there was no one in the house. So I said, okay, I'll focus on it. And as I was focusing, the doorbell rang. Um, and I went, answered the something, went back, said, okay, I'll go back to flow. And suddenly there was this big wind just blowing outside, and I just had to, peep and see what was going on. And, it was just so how do we get into that state of flow and eliminate some of the distractions that prevent us from getting into our flow?
Yeah, but it is true that you say sometimes when we get distracted, it is very difficult to get back into it. It can take some time to find this state of mind back again. Well, I wrote down a few points that could help a person to create some sort of flow. Um, First thing that found was that you need to find your passion, and if you do something that you really like, it is easier to create flow in what you do. But I think it is also if you well, for example, maybe you have to do house chores. Um, if you try to find some sort of contentment in what you do, then it is easier to create this kind of flow and just indeed focus probably on one task at a time. So try not to multitask three things at the same time. Just create on one task at the same time. Another important thing is that you need to challenge yourself a little bit. Um, People can create flow by higher challenge and higher skills level. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit in the end. But if you find your tasks that are more challenging and that are asking more skills, then it is easier to create some sort of flow and happiness from that. Well, what we already said, it is important that you remove your boundaries, and what you said about your phone. I always have my phone on mute, and some people complain that they cannot reach me, but I always have it on mute. But I even noticed that sometimes when I'm busy with a task and I leave my phone in another room, then still my head can go uh, towards I want to check it, and I think that we are all some sort of addicted to it. And I know that sometimes um, I even forget to take my phone to work, and then you really notice how attached to your phone you are and how easily you get distracted by things. So sometimes I just put my phone in another room if I have to focus on tasks and to just try to ignore it.
Uh, I have a question. Based on what you've
Yeah,
said about the distraction, what
yeah.
happens? And you said flow has to be something we like to do. Um, at times, one likes to. I'll use myself as an example. I want to be able to play some musical instruments very well,
Hmm.
but in order to achieve that, I need to be able to do the work, which is the practice, the rehearsal. I don't like that, but I like
Yeah.
the achieving the skill. So I just wanted to ask a question that how does one get flow when the final result is what you are excited about, but the journey isn't, which is where the flow should come in. The journey isn't so exciting.
Yeah, well, I think it is important maybe in that way that you uh, set yourself some small goals that are achievable. Um, so, for example, when I try to practice some things on the piano, um, sometimes I just want to practice it in all keys, but but I get distracted after two practicing in two, and then I think I just have to keep it small. So keep it to something that is achievable. Keep it to something that you like, that you can finish within a certain time, and um, well, give yourself some time to practice, but also some time to just play around. And yeah, maybe start with something that you like, then move into something that you want to practice. Because sometimes to get in the state of flow in your mind, you just have to be busy with the task for a few minutes. And it can also be by just writing down some notes about it, just by preparing in front of it. So if I have to do some things on my job, sometimes I just to try to prepare already the day ahead a little bit. I want to do that tomorrow, and then I know that I have two hours to get it done, so to say. But then I try to prepare it a little bit in my head already. How do I want to approach it? What do I need? So I
Mm,
think that proper preparation also helps you to create this state of flow in a more easier way.
mm.
Um,
When I was
yeah,
thinking
but
about
also
this topic, I know some people will be wondering, but this one is not spiritual, this is just physical. I want to let us know that creating flow is also spiritual. And like Ngozi said, I'll give a few examples. At times, I know this happens to all of us. At times, when you want to worship God, you then listen to sort of like your favorite tracks. You listen to the song that gets you in that zone. That zone we're talking about is the flow. Some
mhm,
preachers will say, we want this particular song, or some will say, just play the keyboard, or some will say, just the strings, or some ministers, even like the GORCCG, he would request that some people play the sax before he ministers. All those are examples of flow. So I don't want us to think this is just motivation, as just Ngozi said. She's a spiritual motivator and influencer, and it's not just the motivation. This is more about inspiration for us to be able to see what we've been missing by not getting into flow to achieve a lot more. So
yeah,
sorry I cut you off. I just felt it's important to point that out.
yeah.
What are the
And
benefits of
it can also be, for example, if you want to get to a good um, attitude for Bible study.
Thank you. So,
So then the same rules are that if you get easily distracted by a lot of things, you never get to a deeper point on which you can meditate on the things you are doing, or well, just let it go and let it to interpret it in a deeper way. So it is not just job or sports or whatever, but it could also be reading your Bible or studying your Bible.
mm, no, thank you. I've learned a lot from the things you've said, and I'm just sort of re-emphasizing it for people as well to understand. Like what she said was, which we've heard, is that that flow will carry you. She talked about preparation. She talked about being, being serious about it, and maybe starting from something that is measurable, something you can do rather than thinking it has to be something really big. But you also mentioned as well that there's the aspect of skills and knowledge as
Yeah,
well. We'll get to that towards the end.
yeah,
I'm just a bit curious. Can you tell us a bit more about that? I'm sort of really interested in that.
yeah. Well, if you want to create flow, then you have to, in some way, increase your skills level and your challenges. And well, I found some sort of diagram, and I do not have it, but if you if you have something like this or like this, then this would be your challenges and this would be your skills. Then you have to focus flow somewhere over here. But what you see is, if you have not a lot of, if you do not have a lot of challenges, you will rather stay, feel bored, or you feel relaxed because you are not challenged to grow, so to say. But if you, on the other hand, on the horizontal axis, if you well, let me, yeah, if you want to create a flow, and you do not have the skills, then you rather get in a state of anxiety, maybe, and you do not want to get bored, you do not want to get anxious or fear. So to create this kind of flow, it both need that you feel inspired to do things, that you feel challenged to do things, but not in a way beyond what you are able to do. And you probably know as well, if you want to learn new things, you can be really excited. But as long as you do not have the skills yet, and maybe people ask you to just go over what you can do, then you can really create a lot of anxiety together. So if I wrote down, if you want to move away from boredom, feeling bored, you have to increase the challenges. And if you want to move away from fear and anxiety, that you have to work on your skills. So I think if you want to, so to create flow, so to say, then you have to both work on things that challenge you, and those things at the same time increase your skills level. So yeah, I think that is important. I think that is important.
Yeah. Do
You
you
have to
know?
feel excited, and you have to feel in control.
Yeah. I want to ask for a favor because I don't think I've asked for this favor before, but I can see how important this topic is, and 30 minutes I don't think does it enough justice. What I want to propose is, if you have some time this week, me and you would meet together and do a recording and have that on the platform as well, because I don't think we should rush this topic. It's so important because the flow, not having flow, is preventing us from getting a lot of things in life. At times, God keeps the inspiration, which is why people talk about the move of the Holy Ghost. It's like a flow. You see the flow of a river, the flow of life, the flow of water. The flow is all around us, but because we don't really understand what it is, and we don't know how to get there or what to pull together, we are sort of frustrated on a lot of things. So I want to ask for that favor, because we have just a few more minutes, that let us meet and pull this together. I think, like I said at the beginning, that this might easily be the most important topic for the year on Let's Discuss. Because once you get your flow, doors begin to open for you. Once you get into your flow, miracles, things begin to happen. Once you get your flow, your goals now become achievable. Once you get into flow, things you've said I cannot do suddenly begins to happen for you. So I would allow you wrap up on maybe one or two more key points, and we'll have that session during the week in order to bring this to life.
Yeah, well, I think I want to summarize a little bit, um, that, well, it is flow is really something that you um, have in this present. It is important that you give what you do at this moment, that you give it full attention. So things that went wrong yesterday, or that could go wrong tomorrow, you have to pull that aside and just go in what you're doing at this moment. So that I think that is one key point that is really important. And another one, I think important, is that you have to be in some sort of way open to new experiences. And I know for myself, I get easily a little bit nervous about things, and then I think, oh well, just let not do it. And but I learned in time, during the years or the decades, maybe even, that, well, just step into the experience. Yes, maybe if you make a fault, okay, let it be, but that you are open to new experiences, that you give yourself room to grow, to keep learning. And then yeah, then things happen in your life. Then you can reach your goals, and things change, and you can move, grow towards something.
Okay. No, thank you very much. It's always amazing how quickly time flies.
Yeah,
Uh, I
yeah.
really want to appreciate you for this topic, for the research, and hopefully for us to pull it together in a way more people can begin to access this. I think this is a really important topic, and it's going to transform lives. I can bet anyone that if you're able to get the flow or get into the flow of the things you need, things will begin to happen. So thank you so much, Ngozi, for this session. And for those of you watching this now or watching later, stay tuned, because we would do that video and begin to drip it into our social media, because this is such an important topic. And I would agree how that sort of like would work with Ngozi off the camera. So thank you, everyone. So once again, I'll leave us with the song that has been released, the Salvation Anthem. I've already put it in the chat. Want to encourage us, please go and watch it. That's how you can support the artist. Oh, you were about to say something
Yeah,
about the song.
I saw this afternoon on Spotify. It was watched already over 1,000 times.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow. No, it's the song is so powerful. It's I would encourage anyone watch it. When I listened to it, it was so catchy. It's in my head, and I now use it for many other things. Please watch it. Help support the artist who is sending the message or releasing the message God has giving her to the world. Please tap into it, tap into the flow, and God will bless you. For those of you joining us for the first time next week, join us. For those of you who are regulars, next week, join us. But look out for flow, and God will bless you in Jesus' name. Thank you all. Have a great week, and God bless you. And remember, your flow defines where you go to and your destination. So have a great week. Bye all.
Jésù tó lé ó palẹ̀
ìwọ ṣáà ti ṣetán.
láti bọ́.